I think photography is one of the best hobbies that you can have, and I think that it also benefits greatly from being able to buy used gear. It is incredible nowadays what type of gear that you can find for so cheap and get so much bang for your buck on sites like eBay. However, in my experience, some folks aren't into that. And that's where this camera comes in, the EOS Rebel T7, and it is currently one of the best-selling cameras on Amazon, Best Buy, or really anywhere that sells new cameras, and it is also one of the cheapest cameras you can buy, retailing right now for $429, and it is also a DSLR, which is becoming more and more rare nowadays. But here's the important question. Is this camera still worth it 5 years later? Let's take a look. As I just mentioned, this camera is a true DSLR, meaning that behind the lens there is a true mirror, that when you look through the viewfinder it reflects off of it and allows you to see directly through the lens. Mirrorless cameras, on the other hand, as you can imagine, do not have that mirror. There are a few benefits that you get from this, but one of the largest ones to me is battery life. If you're just taking pictures, this camera can go days on just one charge, which is a night and day difference from something like an early mirrorless camera. Now let's talk about image quality. This camera has a 24.1 megapixel sensor, which is actually the same sensor that was used on some of Canon's higher end cameras at the time, which should mean that at least on paper, you should expect to see some better image quality out of this camera, and thankfully you'd be right. Coming straight out of camera, you are getting sharp, nice looking photos, without even doing any kind of editing to them. And even with this being an older sensor, I do think you could get away with doing some light cropping as well. Something I don't like is the included kit lens. The Canon EFS 18 to 55mm f3.5 to 5.6 IS2. When you're getting a camera like this, most likely the only other camera that you own is going to be your phone's camera. So part of this camera's job is to introduce you and show you why you should be using it instead of your phone. And having that dark aperture, I really think puts a damper on things, making it difficult to take any kind of indoor photos without using the built-in flash. It also displays some nasty chromatic aberration, which for anyone who doesn't know are these purple and green things on these pictures. Is this lens terrible? No. I just don't think that you're going to want to use it for that long after you get this camera. But thankfully, on that note, you can find a large selection of cheap, amazing lenses from Canon because this is starting to become their older lens mount and they have so much history making these type of lenses. On the used market, you can find a plethora of amazing lenses for not much money. However, the point of this video is to show you what you can get new. So on that note, I went ahead and picked up this. This is Canon's $100 50mm f1.8, and you can get this brand new from places like Amazon, Best Buy, anything like that. I'll leave it linked down in the description if you're interested. This lens is not the sharpest in the world, but with that f1.8 aperture, it can really start to show you what you can accomplish with a bigger sensor that's in this camera than in something like your phone, giving you those out-of-focus backgrounds that modern smartphones try so desperately to mimic. When it comes to video, that's where I think that this camera really struggles, with a max resolution of 1080p and 30 frames per second, as well as not having any kind of a mic jack. So this audio that you're hearing right now is the best that you're going to get. As well, because of how the DSLR works, it has a much slower autofocusing system, which really seems to struggle. It also does not have any kind of a flippy screen, so right now I am not able to tell what you're seeing, and it makes it very hard for recording stuff like this. I would definitely not recommend this camera for anyone looking to do video, and I would frankly say just stick with your phone. What about the build quality on this camera? Well, I think it's fairly decent. It feels light and also has an excellent grip. Canon also has a reputation of making cameras that can really take a beating, and I think that this one is no different. Something else to keep in mind is the screen and menus on this camera. You are not getting a camera that has a screen that could rival a smartphone, that's for sure. You're getting a screen that you can look at for your settings and peek at pictures that you have already taken. It's not a touchscreen and it does not move at all. that's not 100% a bad thing, as I will say I think that the menus are nicely laid out and it gives you every setting that you would need front and center. I am a bit confused by their choice to include just 2 dials. One mode dial, which allows you to select the amount of control that you have over your shooting experience, and the other is just a general purpose dial that allows you to control either the aperture or the shutter speed. And call me spoiled, but I really would have appreciated another dial so you could separate the aperture and shutter speed. This is a simple camera, and it's partially why I like it so much. I think that this is a wonderful beginner's camera because it gives you what you need to take great photos. Even if the kit lens is a bit meh, you can replace it so easily with a wide variety of amazing lenses that Canon makes, whether it's new or used. And heck, I started taking photos with a kit lens and I loved it. And I think that it gives you a great opportunity, even if you do just have the kit lens, to start understanding what your camera can do. If you want to get into photography, not video, I do recommend this camera. And if you buy it, I hope that you love it. My name's Matt. God bless. Thanks for watching.